second time that we know of the Biden administration has shut down any attempt to reach a brokered ceasefire. Why do you think that is?
From the very beginning, it's been clear that the U.S. wants this war to continue and wants it to go on for as long as possible because they have no interest in protecting Ukraine. They instead want to sacrifice Ukraine, have Ukraine destroyed in order to advance what they think is the United States' political interest, geopolitical interest of weakening Russia. And the way to do that is to use Ukraine as a pawn, kill as many Ukrainians as possible, destroy their whole country if they have to, in order to prolong the war as long as possible. And the response of the U.S. government and its defenders has been, we don't have any position about when the war ends. That's completely up to the Ukrainians. When they want to end the war, they can end the war. If they don't, we'll support them. And the lie just got revealed. If you listen to what John Kirby said, they asked him, are the Ukrainians willing to have a ceasefire? And he said, not only won't they, we won't allow it either. Essentially admitting finally what's long been obvious, that the country funding the war, providing the arms for the war, which is the United States, determines if and when the war ends. And we obviously don't want that war to end.
How are people who are pushing for the sacrifice of more Ukrainian and Russian children, for whatever it's worth, how did they seize the moral high ground in this conversation? They're monsters. How are they allowed to lecture the rest of us about human rights?
So there's a propagandistic narrative from the beginning that the Ukrainians are feisty, courageous, and are fighting for their own country, and we ought to stand by their side. The reality is the complete opposite. The Ukrainians do not want this war to continue. Zelensky is not using a voluntary army. He's using a conscript army. He is drafting these people who are unwilling to fight and has repeatedly in the last 4 months on 3 occasions increased the punishments for desertion or for people who are otherwise rebelling against this war, because the Ukrainians know that they're being used as cannon fodder for the interest of other people around the world. So it's a conscript army. They're forcing these Ukrainians to go and die in huge numbers for things that are not in their interest. What's in their interest is to negotiate with the Russians over an agreement that will allow Ukraine to keep the parts of their country that want to be ruled by Kiev. And it's the United States and Great Britain that are blocking it purely for our own interests.